Good morning guys, welcome along, back out on another test ride for a customer of one of these, another Gunmetal LXR in the grey and blue. Engine's running on this one just so you can see the lights, and just check out, we've got the double projector lights onto the front of this. As always, we've done numerous blogs on these LSR, so this is just a ride test for the customer, just to show him the bike working effectively. Just going to hop onto this machine, 1.6 miles on the clock at the moment, and we're going to take this one out and give it a very, very early morning run. So we're just waiting for the traffic to clear and we get out onto the dual carriageway, and then as always the bit of obligatory urban mileage. So just bringing it up to speed through the box as quick as we can. Fourth gear, and fifth gear. Very windy, very cold this morning, hell of a headwind on. But we're going to ride test at the obligatory 40 to 45 mile an hour as we always do. And there are still a few LXRs that we have coming in over the next month or so. So we've got some white and blue ones, which are the next ones. If you are looking for LXRs, you are out of luck. We checked the database yesterday with Lexmoto, and they are totally sold out and awaiting new stock. So unless you can find a dealer that has one, you are going to be out of luck for LXRs for this year. As always, as I have been banging on in all of my videos, get a pre-order in, get yourself a bike ordered, because bike sales have gone incredibly stupid this year. And it's the same with all the dealers. Everybody is pre-reserving bikes at the moment, just so they are guaranteed a bike when they actually come in. Still awaiting our Riskers and the Assaults to come in as well. We now have the Michigans in stock, so if you're after a Michigan cruiser, I have two left. I've got a silver one, which is known as the Industrial Grey, and I've got a black one, which is known as 8-Ball Black. So we've got a couple of those still coming in, but looking at what's been posted today by Bojo or Boris Johnson, saying that all petrol and diesel vehicles will now be not sold from 2030. He's looking to get the country on electric. Now obviously we have the electric bikes in, got the Impulse, the Elex, the Yadia G5, and of course that Lexmoto Cypher. And unfortunately, I have to say, the future is looking electric. I have ridden quite a lot of electric bikes and tried them out, and I do like that little Cypher. It's very, very quick and nippy, and obviously there is ways to de-restrict them to get a little bit more speed out of those bikes. I have also tried the Energicas, and the Energicas are amazing pieces of equipment. When you think you're actually saving on your fuel costs, you're saving on your servicing. Nothing to service apart from an electric motor. So the future, unfortunately, is going to be electric. If you have still got an old petrol bike, then you're good, but obviously new sales. Now this applies to diesel cars and petrol cars, and I think it's going to be the same for the petrol bikes as well. So they're going to try and send everybody electric in the next 10 years, but that's 10 years away. Personally, I still like my old 90s carved bikes that burn absolutely shitloads of fuel, top bang whiz and all that sort of thing. But even on an early morning like this, getting back to the LXR, very, very easy to see that display in front of me. I'm cranking it along at a nice steady 40, 3.7 on the clock. This one's going out to a customer in about a week and a bit, so this is just the first set of ride test mileage. We do 2 lots of this, so we do the main bulk out with the ride test with me, and then normally the final last 8 to 10 couple of days before we do the handover, just to double check that everything is all a-okay and working on the bike. Placement of the controls, and I've done it in so many videos, placement of these controls is absolutely perfect. Riding position is lovely. Bike handles like an absolute dream. And then the only downside that I would say, obviously the tyres on this are alright. They're good in dry weather. Can be a little bit skittish in the wet. In the dry they're fine, a little bit skittish in the wet, but if you ride it normally and you're obviously taking it easy with wet weather, the tyres they do the job. But a lot of people have said, you know, is it worth me swapping the tyres out? It is personal choice. I don't have an issue with these nylon tyres, but obviously on my big bikes I do like a nice bit of rubber. I tend to run Michelin's on most of my bikes. Obviously you've got the choice of the Bridgestones, the Avons, the Pirellis. And at the end of the day, a tyre is a tyre. It's all down to rider ability. Coming in on the braking, and that's in on the rear on the combined braking system. And I can just smell the newness of that exhaust can burning off as well. Do love the smell of a new bike. And then last little test that I do, we'll come up to the next set of lights. They just went green. Hopefully we come up on some red ones. There we go. And in on the front brake, and front brake very effective. Gearbox in this is lovely and smooth. So quite a few ride tests we've been doing this week. I know the weather's been absolutely horrible, and obviously we are in second lockdown. We've ridden quite a few. We've done some Titans this week, out on another LXR today, another Titan to do tomorrow. I'm just going to feather ourselves out into the traffic and do them shoulder checks. As always, these little LXRs pull absolutely beautiful. You know, there was a post on the forum about the ignition locks on these. They were generation 1, and they were having issues with the lock sets on these for generation 1. They have actually changed it out, generation 2 locks on these, so most of the new LXRs that are out now have the new 2nd series locks, no issues. And personally, I've never had an issue with the lock on an LXR. As long as you keep it lubricated, a little bit of WD-40 or some spray grease down the barrel, as you would with any bike. If it's set out in the wet, then you're never going to get an issue with the lock. Obviously, if you're going to not do your maintenance or do your servicing regularly, or as someone said on my post, he said, is it a case of most of the youngsters that have these peg these straight to full speed as soon as they get them? Yes, unfortunately, yes. There was a post yesterday on my YouTube feed, I think it was on the Titan feed that we did, on the last Titan. He said my son had a Peugeot 50, very disheartened that he could only get 50 miles an hour out of a 50cc. If you're getting 50 out of a 50, brilliant, but he wanted to go faster. Went and modified it with an exhaust can on it, and within a week it was... So yeah, most youngsters aren't interested in doing their maintenance. They don't want to learn, they just want to get on a bike and ride and peg the thing straight up to full speed. Those 125s are designed to be ridden around about 55-60 mile an hour. That is what I would say sit them at. Why would you want to do 70? It's going to take you 5 minutes longer to get to work at 55-60, but at least you're maintaining the longevity of that engine. If you're going to be bouncing the thing off of its valves, full speed, absolutely pegging that throttle, then you are going to get issues. And then most of the people that complain about the Chinese bikes are those that have done exactly that. And take one of our older customers. He's had a UM Commando, and he's had it just under 2 years now, and he's currently at 24,500 miles on it, and it's still going. Does a weekly check, checks all his oil, does his regular maintenance, services himself now, but he's having an absolute blast on it. And we have a Venom that we use as a loan bike, came back into us as a buyback. Customer wanted to trade up to something different, and we've had a Venom. We've used that as a loan bike, and just to show you how good that Venom was, it's been thrown down the road 5 times. It gets used as a loaner. It's currently got 4,096 miles on it, and that's a 2-year-old bike, and it goes out, customers use it as a loan bike, comes back in, gets checked over, and that thing runs absolutely sweet as a nut, despite the fact that it has been thrown down the road 5 times. We've replaced panels, bar ends, handlebars, and yet the bike is still good. It still goes. So it just shows you, if you do look after a bike, maintain it, that bike will keep going and going and going and going. So currently 7.5 in. We're going to crank up a little bit more mileage on this after I've been up the hill. Just give it a hill test like I normally do. Hold it at 40 going up the hill and just seeing what a hill will do to the performance of the bike. Now it normally drops me a couple of miles an hour. I've got a hell of a headwind bashing me around at the moment, hence why the bike is wandering a bit. But it is a hell of a gusty headwind. About 30 mile an hour wind at the moment. Trees are swaying, but the bike holds the line, all well and good. And sitting at 43, lock the throttle out, and I expect to lose about 2 mile an hour climbing this steep hill. But these little LXRs just keep going and going and going. So one final thing before we go back into the urban mileage, if you haven't seen the video of my ride from Sunday, just go and have a watch of that one. I think it's about 12.5, 13 minutes long. Go and have a watch of that. We go on about certain things, obviously bikers that I follow on the YouTube channel. Check it out, and that is going to be the next video up at the moment. Obviously as an all-weather rider, I tend to ride most days, whether it's raining, sunny, icy. Only time I will not ride is if there's really deep snow or really bad ice, then it's time to get the car out. So we're going to cut out here, come back in when we go back into town on the urban mileage, and I'll see you guys in just a few. So until then, see you in a while. So off the dual carriageway mileage, back onto the urban route now, and just heading back to town. 13.4 miles on the bike of that 20-mile ride test. Final mileage to be added a couple of days before handover, just to do the final 5 mile or 8 mile check. But running an absolute dream, and that is why dealers should be doing quite a long ride test. If you're picking up a bike that's got 0 miles or just a couple of miles on it, alarm bells will be going in my head, because it's not been ride tested effectively. Hence the reason why we do at least 30 to 45 minutes on every bike, just to check that you're going to get absolutely no issues on a run to work or on a run to college or wherever you're going to be taking your bike. Also, we do a 7-stage PDI. A lot of dealers will do just a quick bolt check, whiz it round the block, check it all over, and hook it out the door. Now some dealers are turning bikes around. Oh yeah, we can have your bike ready for tomorrow. Quick bolt check, run it round the block. Yeah, register the bike. There you go. Sold the bike. Made another load of money. We are not like that. We do a 7-stage PDI. So first thing in, 90-point bulk check, then goes across for a full quality control check, then to a ride test, and then final bulk checks, final rides, and that takes us around about 2 to 3 weeks, just for the simple reason being, if we did find an issue with the bike, we have that time then to get that bike in, repairs done to the bike, especially if it's something like a panel, get a panel ordered, get it in, so when that bike goes out it is absolutely 100% good. We don't cut corners, and that is the reason why we sell a lot of bikes. Now, obviously some dealers do their stuff differently, that is what we do, so that is our personal thing. And also, before we send a bike out, coat of ACF 50. I bang on about this ACF 50, I will be doing a video about that. Just a little bit of anti-corrosion protection on these. Normally the first thing to go on a motorcycle is the exhaust. That's the first thing to rust. Obviously this has got a stainless system on it, but that is what we would expect. And when you come to collect your bike, 8 bits of paper, owner's manual, and a second key. And out of sort of 100, I think around about 130, 160 bikes we're doing for this year, we've not had many back. The only one back was where a customer had fiddled with the bike, and we tend to get a lot of that, but people fiddle with bikes, but we normally rectify it. Job always. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, click the like and subscribe down the bottom. That will give me a follow. See if I can hit the 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you did enjoy it, click the like button. If not, we don't mind a down. But obviously, leave your comments down the bottom what you think of Lexmoto and their products, and what do you think of these LXRs. I think they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So comments down the bottom. And as always on my videos, popping up down the bottom right hand side, the link to Eclipse Motorcycles, the website, and the telephone number. So if you are into a Lexmoto bike, numbers down the bottom for you, bottom right hand side. Easiest way to find everything off my channel, revbomb.co.uk. Pop on there, Eclipse Motorcycles are on the first page. Down the bottom is a link to the Facebook, link to the website, all the numbers are down there, plus all the people that sponsor me and give me stuff. So big thanks to all of those, and some new ones on there this week as well. Thanks to McCams, and of course the guys from Bike Shore. Last page is my social media. It's got the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube on there, so pop on, have a look around some of those. Nice big bump, and that suspension soaks it up lovely. As always, on all of my YouTube feeds, there's a link to all the bikers that I follow, and we've got some more just been added on this week, so there's a huge list of bikers there. If you fancy watching some of their videos, pop on, have a look at what they're doing. And as always, if you want to see the latest video, up the top right of the page, and that little notifications bell, hit the notifications bell. That will tell you when the next video is due to come out. So just coming up for 16 miles on this, which means just 4 to put on the couple of days before we do handover, just a quick final ride test. But whatever you're doing this week, guys, have yourself a good one. I know it is cold and horrible and mucky out there, so if you are riding, ride safely. If you're stuck at home, be well, take it easy, protect yourselves, hands, face, space. And from RB and the crew at Eclipse Motorcycles, until the next time, it's a big goodbye from me.